Belphegor addressed to Miss de Chammelay by Jean de la Fontaine. Your name with every pleasure here I place, the last effusions of my muse to grace, O charming Phillis. May the same extend through time's dark night, our praise together blend, to this we surely may pretend to aim your acting and my rhymes attention claim. Long, long in memory's page your fame shall live. You, who such ecstasy so often give, o'er minds, o'er hearts triumphantly you reign. In Berenice, in Phaedra, and Chimene, your tears and plaintive accents all engage. Beyond compare in proud Camilla's rage, your voice and manner auditors delight, whose strong emotions can so well excite. No fine eulogium from my pen expect, with you. Each air and grace appear correct. My first of Phillises you ought to be. My sole affection had been placed on thee. Long since, had I presumed the truth to tell, but he who loves would fain be loved as well. No hope of gaining such a charming fair, too soon, perhaps, I ceded to despair. Your friend, was all I ventured to be thought, though in your net I more than half was caught. Most willingly your lover I'd have been, but time it is our story should be seen. One day, old Satan, sovereign dread of hell, reviewed his subjects, as our histories tell. The different ranks, confounded as they stood, kings, nobles, females, and plebeian blood, such grief expressed, and made such horrid cries, as almost stunned, and filled him with surprise. The monarch, as he passed, desired to know the cause that sent each shade to realms below. Some said, my husband. Others' wife replied. The same was echoed loud from every side. His Majesty on this was heard to say, if truth these shadows to my ears convey, with ease our glory we may now augment. I'm fully bent to try experiment. With this design we must some demon send, who wily art with prudence well can blend, and, not content with watching Hymen's flock, must add his own experience to the stock. The sable senate instantly approved the proposition that the monarch moved. Belphegor was to execute the work. The proper talent in him seemed to lurk. All ears and eyes, a prying knave in grain, in short, the very thing they wished to gain. That he might all expense and cost defray, they gave him numerous bills without delay, and credit too, in every place of note, with various things that might their plan promote. He was, besides, the human lot to fill, of pleasure and of pain, of good and ill. In fact, whate'er for mortals was designed, with his legation was to be combined. He might by industry and wily art, his own afflictions dissipate in part, but die he could not, nor his country see, till he 10 years complete on earth should be. Behold him travelling o'er extensive space, between the realms of darkness and our race. To pass it, scarcely he a moment took. On Florence instantly he cast a look. Delighted with the beauty of the spot, he there resolved to fix his earthly lot, regarding it as proper for his wiles, a city famed for wanton freaks and guiles. Belphegor soon a noble mansion hired, and furnished it with everything desired. As Signor Roderick he designed to pass. His equipage was large of every class, expense anticipating day by day, what, in 10 years, he had to throw away. His noble entertainments raised surprise. Magnificence alone would not suffice. Delightful pleasures he dispensed around, and flattery abundantly was found, an art in which a demon should excel. No devil surely e'er was liked so well. His heart was soon the object of the fair. To please Belphegor was their constant care. Who liberally with presents smooths the road, will meet no obstacles to love's abode. In every situation they are sweet, I've often said, and now the same repeat. The primum mobile of humankind, are gold and silver, through the world we find. Our envoy kept 2 books, in which he wrote the names of all the married pairs of note. But that assigned to couples satisfied, he scarcely for it could a name provide, which made the demon almost blush to see, how few, alas, in wedlock's chains agree, while presently the other, which contained unhappy, not a leaf in blank remained. No other choice Belphegor now had got, than try himself the hymeneal knot. In Florence he beheld a certain fair, with charming face and smart engaging air. Of noble birth, but puffed with empty pride. Some marks of virtue, though not much beside. For Roderick was asked this lofty dame. The father said, Henesta, such her name, had many eligible offers found, but, 'mong the numerous band that hovered round, perhaps his daughter, Roderick's suit might take, though he should wish for time the choice to make. This approbation met, and Roderick, gone to use his arts and execute his plan. The entertainments, balls, and serenades, plays, concerts, presents, feasts, and masquerades, much lessened what the demon with him brought. He nothing grudged. Whate'er was wished he bought. The dame believed high honor she bestowed, when she attention to his offer showed. And, after prayers, entreaties, and the rest, to be his wife she full assent expressed. But first a pettifogger to him came, of whom, aside, Belphegor made a game. What, said the demon, is a lady gained just like a house? These scoundrels have obtained such power and sway, without them nothing's done. But hell will get them when their course is run. He reasoned properly. When faith's no more, true honesty is forced to leave the door. When men with confidence no longer view their fellow mortals, happiness adieu. The very means we use to escape the snare, oft deeper plunge us in the gulf of care. Avoid attorneys, if you comfort crave. Who knows a pettifogger, knows a knave. Their contracts, filled with ifs and furs, appear the gate through which strife found admittance here. In vain we hope again the earth, 'twill leave still strife remains, and we ourselves deceive. In spite of solemn forms and laws we see, that love and hymen often disagree. The heart alone can tranquilize the mind. In mutual passion every bliss we find. How different things in other states appear. With friends 'tis who can be the most sincere. With lovers, all is sweetness, balm of life, while all is irksomeness with man and wife. We daily see from duty springs disgust, and pleasure likes true liberty to trust. Are happy marriages forever flown? On full consideration I will own, that when each other's follies couples bear, they then deserve the name of happy pair. Enough of this. No sooner had our wight the bell possessed, and passed the month's delight, but he perceived what marriage must be here, with such a demon in our nether sphere. Forever jars and discords rang around. Of follies, every class our couple found. Henesta oftentimes such noise would make, her screams and cries the neighbors kept awake, who, running thither, by the wife were told. Some paltry tradesman's daughter, coarse and bold, he should have had. Not one of rank like me. To treat me thus, what villain he must be. A wife so virtuous, could he e'er deserve? My scruples are too great, or I should swerve. Indeed, without dispute, 'twould serve him right. We are not sure she nothing did in spite. These prudes can make us credit what they please. Few ponder long when they can dupe with ease. This wife and husband, as our histories say, each moment squabbled through the passing day. Their disagreements often would arise about a petticoat, cards, tables, pies, gowns, chairs, dice, summer houses, in a word, things most ridiculous and quite absurd. Well might this spouse regret his hell profound, when he considered what he'd met on ground. To make our demon's wretchedness complete, Henesta's relatives, from every street, he seemed to marry, since he daily fed the father, mother, sister, fit to wed, and little brother, whom he sent to school, while miss he portioned to a wealthy fool. His utter ruin, howsoe'er, arose from his attorney steward that he chose. What's that, you ask? A wily sneaking knave, who, while his master spends, contrives to save, till, in the end, grown rich, the lands he buys, which his good lord is forced to sacrifice. If, in the course of time, the master take the place of steward, and his fortune make, 'twould only to their proper rank restore, those who become just what they were before. Poor Roderick now no other hope had got, than what the chance of traffic might allot. Illusion vain, are doubtful at the best. Though some grow rich, yet all are not so blessed. 'Twas said our husband never would succeed, and truly, such it seemed to be decreed. His agents, similar to those we see in modern days, were with his treasure free. His ships were wrecked, his commerce came to naught. Deceived by knaves, of whom he well had thought. Obliged to borrow money, which to pay, he was unable at appointed day, he fled, and with a farmer shelter took, where he might hope the bailiffs would not look. He told to Matthew, such the farmer's name, his situation, character, and fame, by duns assailed, and harassed by a wife, who proved the very torment of his life. He knew no place of safety to obtain, like entering other bodies, where 'twas plain, he might escape the catchpole's prowling eye, Henesta's wrath, and all her rage defy. From these he promised he would thrice retire, whenever Matthew should the same desire. Thrice, but no more, t'oblige this worthy man, who shelter gave when from the fiends he ran. The ambassador commenced his form to change, from human frame to frame he, gone to range. But what became his own fantastic state, our books are silent, nor the facts relate. And only daughter was the first he seized, whose charms corporeal much our demon pleased. But Matthew, for a handsome sum of gold, obliged him, at a word, to quit his hold. This passed at Naples. Next to Rome he came, where, with another fair, he did the same, but still the farmer banished him again, so well he could the devils will restrain. Another weighty purse to him was paid, thrice Matthew drove him out from bell and maid. The king of Naples had a daughter fair, admired, adored, her parents' darling care, in wedlock oft by many princes sought. Within her form, the wily demon thought he might be sheltered from Henesta's rage, and none to drive him thence would dare engage. Not else was talked of, in or out of town, but devils driven by the cunning clown. Large sums were offered, if, by any art, he'd make the demon from the fair depart. Afflicted much was Matthew, now to lose the gold thus tendered, but he could not choose, for since Belphegor had obliged him thrice, he durst not hope the demon to entice. Poor man was he, a sinner, who, by chance, he knew not how, it surely was romance, had some few devils, truly, driven out, most worthy of contempt without a doubt. But all in vain. The man they took by force. Proceed he must, or hanged he'd be of course. The demon was before our farmer placed. The sight was by the prince in person graced. The wondrous contest. Numbers ran to see, and all the world spectators fain would be. If vanquished by the devil, he must swing. If vanquisher, 'twould thousands to him bring. The gallows was, no doubt, a horrid view. Yet, at the purse, his glances often flew. The evil spirit laughed within his sleeve, to see the farmer tremble, fret, and grieve. He pleaded that the white he'd thrice obeyed. The demon was by Matthew often prayed, but all in vain. The more he terror showed, the more Belphegor ridicule bestowed. At length the clown was driven to declare the fiend he was unable to ensnare. Away they Matthew to the gallows led, but as he went, it entered in his head, and, in a sort of whisper he averred, as was in fact the case, a drum he heard. The demon, with surprise, to Matthew cried, "What noise is that?" "Henesta," he replied, "who you demands, and everywhere pursues, the spouse who treats her with such vile abuse." These words were thunder to Belphegor's ears, who instantly took flight, so great his fears. To hell's abyss he fled. Without delay, to tell adventures through the realms of day. "Sire," said the demon, "it is clearly true, damnation does the marriage not pursue. Your highness often hither sees arrive, not squads, but regiments, who, when alive, by hymen were indissolubly tied. In person I the fact have fully tried. Institution, perhaps, most just could be. Past ages far more happiness might see, but everything, with time, corruption shows. No jewel in your crown more luster throws. Belphegor's tale by Satan was believed. Reward he got. The term, which sorely grieved, was now reduced. Indeed, what had he done, that should prevent it? If away he'd run, who would not do the same who weds a shrew? Sure worse below the devil never knew. A brawling woman's tongue, what saint can bear? E'en Job, Henesta would have taught despair. What is the inference? You ask. I'll tell. Live single, if you know you are well. But if old hymen o'er your senses reign, beware Henestas, or you'll rue the chain. Asterisk by this character La Fontaine is supposed to have meant his own wife.